Today's guest stars on the Eden Report at 6. Joining me now, it's Grace Kraemer, the co-anchor of the KMOT News at 6 with Joe Skurshevsky. First of all, you've been here a little while now. Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to be a news anchor in the first place, and how do you carry Joe every single night at 6?
Definitely. So when I was younger, probably for as long as I can remember, I wanted to be in the news. I would always just watch the news growing up with my mom and dad. Thought it was the coolest thing. I really looked up to the news anchors. Thought they were just the most important people in the world. So that's just kind of been my dream ever since. And me and my sister I take my mom's video camera and we do fake newscasts. And when I went to college, that's what I wanted to do.
That's so freaking cute, the fake newscasts and stuff.
It's
so
honestly super cute. I'll have to show you them.
You're on your way up to being like you said, like the most important person in the world, basically, what you thought of back then. You know, what I did when I was a kid was I would take my mom's vacuum cleaner and do my cardboard box car and act like I was filling up gas, but you're just doing the news. That's way more higher up than me. So since you've been here, what do you think have been some of the biggest stories that you've covered around Minot?
Out of left field. Okay. I think the organ fire donation story that I just did this week about a Minot family who drove to Oregon with donations from Minot to help out people who've been displaced by the fire. I think that was really big. That was very heartfelt. Not a lot of people just take off time to do something like that. I think that's really incredible. Another big story I did was the Trump parade. Boat parade.
Oh, yeah, all the boats.
Yeah, that was pretty big. It's a big election year. It's a very big election in general, so I think being out there, kind of hearing people's opinions, kind of seeing what's going on, I think is super important too.
I think that was like a national thing that weekend because I went home for a bachelor party and down at the Bay, everybody was getting ready for their Trump boat parades and all that stuff.
Yeah, it was like a thing.
Yeah,
Everybody
for sure.
was doing it.
And about just like the fires, you're coming up from Colorado. Have you ever kind of had to deal with just like the far off haziness? I mean, it never makes it up to my hometown in PA. But, I mean, we kind of see the effects up here in North Dakota. Is that something new for you, or have you seen that before?
No, this is very, up here in North Dakota, we're not really getting much. So this is nothing compared to what I've experienced back in Colorado. A few years ago, we had a huge fire called the Waldo Canyon Fire. We were pretty close to the evacuation zone during that. I was really young when that happened, and the sky was black. It was raining ash. It was really scary, especially being super young. Me and my sister were freaking out. And, of course, I was probably freaking out more because I'm a big drama queen. And then a few years after that big fire, we had the Black Forest fire, and that was even closer to home. And it was to the point where we started packing up our stuff, getting ready to leave. And, of course, I was losing my mind. I was so scared because you can see the flames kind of like
out there.
It was terrifying.
I've seen a couple places where the guys are playing golf and you see like the wildfires going on the mountains, and that's scary. But I can't believe like they just keep on playing. So you were how young were you?
Which
like
one?
real little for the first one?
No. I was probably about 12, 13. 14.
Okay. Well, even then, I mean, if you've asked like your folks about it since then, have they told you any more than what they told you as like a 12-year-old to get ready to go? Did they say, oh yeah, maybe it was like a little worse than what we were leading on to you because we knew you'd be freaking out, or no?
No,
you were ready to go?
Because I was always like the person watching the news. I've been into the news forever, so I'm always super informed. So I was watching like, okay, we gotta go. And of course, like I said, I'm a bit of the drama queen, so I could have been.
Were you taking care of your older sister instead, or what?
I don't know.
She was good too?
I think she was more calm. I was kind of more freaking out.
All right. So you go to school at UC Colorado Springs, about close to where you grew up here. So you get out of there and you're looking around about your first step of becoming a news anchor here. So what were your thoughts on Minot, like when you see like the job opening as you're interviewing, trying to learn more, and then how has it been maybe alike and different since you've moved here and been living here?
Definitely. So actually, this job I kind of stumbled into this job, which was a blessing. I mean, obviously, I'm very happy to be up here. I love what I do. So that was really great. It was really hard finding a job during a pandemic. That was really hard, and I took it to heart, and it tore me up that I wasn't getting what I wanted right away. So that took a lot of time, but then I stumbled into this position. Joe and I had a few interviews over Zoom, I think. He seemed really great. It seemed like a great position. It was exactly what I wanted. I wanted that anchor role and a reporter role, and I was able to do both. I wasn't totally opposed to moving super far because I've been in Colorado my entire life. So when they said Minot, North Dakota, I had no idea where that was, but I was like, okay,
Straight
let's
up,
do
a
it.
little colder, a little flatter, a little colder, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Get that direct United flight down to Denver for you. So before we started this, I already filled out my absentee ballot, okay? And that's a natural segue to how much do you love this time of every 4 years, the election season? It's crazy, huh?
Love it, live for it, crave it. It's amazing.
So what do you kind of like about like the leading up, like all the hype from both sides, or just like how crazy election night is and all like the results coming in? Because that even happens on the local level. I'll tell you what, we have a couple measures that people definitely get hyped up. We don't have to go into the cloud seeding discussion or anything like that, and different candidates. What's kind of your favorite part of the season?
I think definitely, obviously, over recent years, it's gotten a little more
Fighty.
Fighty, yeah. But I don't enjoy that. I think that's not great. But just the patriotism, like the real act of going out, casting a ballot for your leader, for who you want to be a leader, is so patriotic. Over 200 years ago, a group of guys got together and were like, we should have the people vote. That's what we want. And to this day, we're still doing that. No, not many people really realize that in the world, we're kind of rare. We're able to vote for who we want to lead us. I think that is beautiful and incredible, and I think it's taken for granted.
I think back then, even like when they first started it up, I read that like a lot of the founding fathers were like our age, and everybody pictures them as being like super old seasoned politicians when they were like in 1776.
Yeah, no,
but
they were.
nuts.
They weren't super young, but they weren't. Yeah, they were.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So back to even more glory days here. This is the sports show here, and you told me that you were really excited for volleyball season. What were kind of your high school sports glory days moments for you back in Peyton?
Peyton, yeah. Oh man, I played all the sports. So it was a really small town. So I mean, everybody just played sports to do stuff. So I played a little bit of everything: basketball, volleyball, track, softball.
Who did you like? Who was the rival that you like hated their guts? Peyton versus who?
Hated
Or
their guts.
Peyton versus everybody, or what?
It was Ellicott. They were not great.
Dang. All right. What was you played all the different sports? What would you say like what your favorite one was?
Volleyball for sure, hands down, was my favorite.
What kind of makes it that way?
Just being on a team. You just like volleyball. It requires a lot of communication and teamwork. You can't just do it all by yourself. So like being able to depend on people and having people depend on you and just the fast pace of it. I love that. I like going and going and going. I hate being bored.
How much was where you played sports similar to maybe just the Class B environment that we have here in North Dakota? All these towns probably have like 1,500 people and like everyone goes to the game. Was it like that? Did you guys have a bigger field than that? How was it?
So yeah, it's pretty similar. It's actually kind of funny. So where I grew up is actually a lot smaller than a lot of schools I've been to up here.
Mm-hmm.
My graduating class was like 46, and that was huge.
And so I was also wondering about how I came over and you had like all this like wrestling garb from your family. When I say garb, it's just like a bunch of pics on your fridge or whatever. But there's a big following up here for that. How big of a deal is prep wrestling down in Colorado for your family and just everybody that takes it in?
I mean, I obviously can't speak for Colorado itself, but I mean, I grew up in the sport. My dad coached. My dad played or wrestled when he was younger in high school, and then he went on to coach that. So kind of growing up, that's just what we knew. I had a younger brother. That's all he did. When I was younger, I thought I wanted to wrestle too, but
nah.
Yeah, my parents never let me, thank goodness, because that's a little much. But that it just we grew up around it. You learned to love it. I honestly love wrestling. I love watching it. It's a very entertaining sport.
Your coach dad didn't want you to be like the trending news story of like the girl playing the boys sport that comes on every now and again?
No, I wouldn't have been the only girl, but
okay.
Never did it.
Never did it. All right. So something that you wanted to bring up, because I wouldn't have a clue, like, preparing for this, and I'm just going to give you the open floor because I don't even know how to prompt you for it, is this crazy hiking trip that you had growing up.
I want to say it was in 2016. My family wanted to go to Utah for vacation. I think it was during, like, spring break. So we went to Utah because they have gorgeous national parks. I mean, like, literally phenomenal. Gorgeous, breathtaking, incredible. And we love the outdoors. We love hiking. We love all that stuff. So we went to this park. It's called Zion National Park. And the first day, we're just kind of driving around, trying to get in the lay of the land, seeing, like, what kind of trails we want to do or, like, what kind of things we want to do. And we pulled up to this trailhead, and it's called Kolob Arch Canyon. We're like, oh, this looks kind of fun. It leads you to this beautiful arch. Like, this is so scenic. This is incredible. So we kind of looked up some stuff online later that night when we went back to our RV. And it was, I don't remember how many miles it said. So that was mistake number one. So we just kind of were like, let's just do it. Let's just go for it. We're not super prepared for this the next day. So we wake up really early because we know it's going to be a bit of a long hike. So we grab, like, a water bottle each. Second mistake right there. We just go. We don't really look up too much more information than that. We're on the hike. It's pretty long. We're passing some people. These people have, like, their tents and, like, these huge backpacks. We're like, oh, okay, whatever. We keep going. We keep going. We finally make it to this arch 18 miles later. We make it to this arch. This arch is literally the size of my thumb. It is the tiniest arch. It is so anticlimactic. It is horrible. Dang. We are so upset. And then we're like, holy cow, we have to go all the way back. So we're already through our water source at this point. Like, we're done. So we're like, well, this is a hike where you, like, go in and then you stay the night and then you go out.
Oh, okay.
Versus
you
doing
no
it in
idea.
one day. Yeah. So we were super not prepared for it. So we were like, crap. Well, we got to go back, so, you know, that's what we did. We started walking, and my sister had a heat stroke. Dang. And she was, like, dying. She was not living for it. We had to keep stopping, not even half a mile, like every quarter mile in shade to have her rest. So finally, my mom was like, she can't do it. If she doesn't have water, like, she's going to die. So we're like, holy cow, okay, this is really intense. This is really intense. So my younger brother and my mom and my sister all stayed behind, and me and my dad were like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to hike. We're going to hike all the way to the Jeep. We're going to grab some water, and we're going to bring it back. So we started hiking. I started to panic more because I was like, oh, my God, what if everybody dies? Like, what's going on?
So, like, the whole family underestimated it.
Oh, yeah. Everybody underestimated it. Yeah. So we were all dying. Me and my dad were going off on our own. I start freaking out. I'm so dehydrated. I haven't had water in hours. It's so hot out in Utah, okay? Spring in Utah. It's hot. I'm dying. My throat starts closing because I'm like, I'm freaking out. So I had to stop. I was like, I can't go on. I'm going to die right here. So my dad just kept going. So I was left alone on this trail, freaking out, not being able to breathe.
Were there not a ton of other people going through it?
Nobody. I was so scared. I was alone for maybe about 30, 40 minutes. My dad, the freaking hero he is, hiked all the way back to the Jeep, brought a whole case of water, dropped some off at me, and then, like, hiked all the way back into the canyon to give water to my sister and everybody else.
So your dad was, like, 2.5 times through an 18-mile one-way thing, or what?
Yeah.
Dang, he's a tank,
The
huh?
poor guy. Like, his knees were shot after that. It was literally horrible. But my parents, I guess, after the hike, my sister told me that they were trying to call 911 and it wasn't connecting. So it was pretty serious, and it was really scary, especially because I was separated by myself. I was freaking out.
I thought it was going to be like the Kraemer kids went out for it and they had to, like, do the embarrassing call back to mom and dad.
No, as a family, we all messed up.
It was like you went out in the RV, and then since you were stuck out there, you had to get, like, the family helicopter out there too, or what?
No.
This is a yes or no question. Were you guys ever able to take out the RV without the mom and dad?
No.
Okay, no more questions on that. Let's get back to the educational aspect of things at Colorado Springs to kind of get you ready for this job, do you think? What was going to school at UC like?
Yeah, so unfortunately, UCCS, they didn't offer a journalism program, and That sucked. I definitely should have thought about that a lot more in high school, but I mean, we're also in high school. We're young. We're not really super smart. I was just like, I'm just going to go here. It's close to home. It's fine. So that's what I did. But they didn't have a journalism program, so I settled with second best, which is mass communication. They had some, I had an amazing journalism teacher for just one of my classes. She kind of helped a little bit, but it was kind of, I was on my own, so I was like, I'm gonna have to do a lot of internships. So that's what I did. I emailed, I called as many news directors in Colorado Springs as I could, and I got some callbacks, and I just did as many internships as I could to kind of learn what I needed to learn. So that's what I did. I really, honestly, I learned everything that I need for this job from my internships.
They were all right there in Colorado Springs?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Because we've had people like, actually, the anchor right before you, Charlie, she's from Utah. She's been all over those trails. They might have been more prepared than you guys were.
I really hope
but
so.
She went into like New York for one time internship, so that was pretty sweet for her.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I already asked you about how where you grew up was kind of like Class B. How much is Peyton and Colorado Springs and maybe other parts of Colorado like compared to South Park, your favorite TV show?
So
is Greeley all it's cracked up to be as well?
Yeah, Greeley's not super great. But so honestly, South Park is really small. There's nothing there.
It's a real town.
It's a real town in Colorado, but there's nothing going on. There might be like a tourist shop for South Park people, but other than that, it's nothing.
There's like South Park tchotchkes being sold at a shop in South Park just because of the show.
Yeah.
Did they ever give like Trey Parker and Matt Stone like a key to the city or anything like that?
I don't know. I hope they did. I think they're from South Park.
Okay. Or,
I think
right
they're
around
I think they're from Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
At least one of them is.
That's like kind of the perfect setting though, because like the real town, you never think anything would come out of it or anything would happen, and it kind of gives them a blank canvas to do like all their crazy stuff or whatever.
They want. Definitely.
So you're telling me that Casa Bonita is a real place as well?
Casa Bonita is a real place, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
It's magical when you're a child.
That's what I've heard. When you're a kid only, like if you're looking at it through like Cartman's eyes, it's cool, but if you're an adult, it's like dreadful, right?
It's the most magical thing. The food, horrible. Literally, I would eat cat food before I would eat Casa Bonita food. It's god awful, but they have so much stuff for the kids. They have the divers. They have Black Bart's Cave. They have everything. It's a blast. It's like a Colorado staple.
You're like lighting up over that. That's awesome. I think a good follow-up, because you compare it to cat food, is if you're going to take cat food over Casa Bonita food nowadays, would you feed your cats Casa Bonita?
No.
Absolutely not. Okay,
No.
Good. Just wanted to tighten up that loose end here. Now, you're a big baseball fan, and despite loving the game, do you kind of get where the boys were coming from in the episode where they played Little League all summer and they hated baseball and all they wanted to do was play video games and they didn't know how to break it to their proud parents?
I actually don't relate because I love playing baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it is like, I like watching it, but I love playing it.
Was your brother also into sports? Like he never wanted to be like, screw this, let's go play video games? Or
I'm
what?
sure he wanted to, but our parents were like, nope, sports. So
that was a great episode, along with when like Stan had to coach the hockey team and they made like a Mighty Ducks episode pretty much. So Rockies fan, obviously, what's kind of like the highs and lows of that? When they get out, they're really good, but then boy, what's the rest of the time?
Like at the beginning of the season, they most of the time they come out pretty strong. And then it kind of falls.
It's unexplainable.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not great. And then they just get into like a rut, and it's just loss after loss after loss, and it just puts a damper on things.
I'm with you. Like they had 8 playoff teams in the National League, and both the Rockies and Phillies probably aren't going to make it. So it's like you think that the team's going to be good, and even in a smaller sample size when it's supposed to help the crappy teams like the Marlins are going to the playoffs this season after they wrecked like the first 2 weeks with COVID. Whatever.
It sucks.
Nothing's coming up Rockies unless it's like the year 2007. So
it's a great year.
How do you come from Colorado and become a Dolphins fan?
Again, it was just one of those things. My dad was a Dolphins fan every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Live like a diehard Dolphins fan. So every Sunday he was at the TV cheering on his Dolphins. So that's just kind of I just adopted it.
Are you more like on the scale of more so just kick back and watch the game, or are you closer to being a diehard like the Dolphins reserve table at the Lucky Strike on Sundays?
I think I'm just gonna kick back. I'm just here for a good time.
Yeah.
I'm not. I love sports. I love following them. Love it, but I'm not like super crazy.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan, but like there is no point in getting like super publicly mad about it. I remember I was doing
Getting all riled up.
I was doing a dart tournament down at the Icebox, and they have some true shooters down there. If you want to see if you're ever good at throwing darts, go down to the Icebox in Minot and play around.
I'm horrible.
They do like the random draw and everything, so it's a true test. And that time it was like we were getting into the nitty gritty of the tournament. I can't believe I'm even still in it. And it was Penn State, Ohio State, and Penn State was like 2 points down. They had a 4th and 6, and they called like a quarterback draw, and it got stuffed. Terrible play call. And like I'm in the middle of my turn. I was like, just a second. I'm watching this. The play goes nowhere. I just look back and keep shooting it. And I've been watching the game the whole time. People have seen that I like Penn State. And the guy's like, aren't you more upset? Aren't you more pissed off or whatever? Like, no, me being mad isn't going to give Penn State 3 more points to win this game. So, I don't know. So, just trying to kick back here a little bit.
For sure.
How much have you tried to maybe pick up on hockey a little bit? I think you were trying. You're going to give the effort this winter. You told me that. Because of the junior team in town.
I'll give you some effort. I'll give you a little bit. I mean,
yeah.
I never watched it. I guess it'd be really cool to get into. Like, all the fights are pretty interesting to watch, so that'd be fun.
Very good. You can watch, like, the brand new scoreboard they put up at Mesa Arena.
Yeah.
250K.
So I'll do that.
Yeah, just chilling.
Just take me to game. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you my comments on it.
Yeah. Something that I know that you are definitely into that I wouldn't even have to drag out, but like, are you trying to be a fan? Do you really like it? Is the freaking car scene. Talk to me about just your freaking passion for that, growing up in it and loving it.
So I didn't really grow up into it. I dated a few guys in high school that were really into it, so I was kind of into it because of that. Mm-hmm. And then my current boyfriend, God bless him, super diehard into it, and I just kind of fell into it. He taught me a lot of stuff that I like wouldn't know, and I think that's really interesting because unfortunately, like when it comes to like car stuff, a lot of women are kind of just like they don't really know what stuff is, and that kind of screws them over in the long run because guys kind of take advantage of that.
They're like waving the race flags instead of like knowing what's going on with the car or what.
So I don't know, it's kind of empowering knowing like how a car works and stuff like that. So I like it. I think it's a fun hobby to get into. It's expensive, it's tiring, it's reckless, but it's fun.
Hopefully not too reckless anyway. We don't have to tell anybody about that kind of thing. So when you're saying you're into cars, thankfully your boyfriend's truck is back on the map.
It is.
So in that sense, are you more into like friggin'? Are you a big truck guy? Because there's plenty of North Dakotans that are like that, or like the sports muscle cars. When I say you're into cars,
no, not neither.
Okay.
No, do not like the sports muscle cars. They're way too heavy to actually go fast at all. Trucks, don't like them. It's more like the foreign, like import cars, like like Subaru has a lot of good ones. Beamers are pretty decent, just kind of stuff like that. Nissan.
Yeah. Beamers are doing all right, right? Yeah, they're perfect. They're great. Yeah, whatever like Lamborghini you might see in Las Vegas. They're pretty nice cars. I agree. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so I don't even know how much you'll fall in line with this then. We have the dirt racetrack at Nodak Speedway where all the beat-up cars go. Would you like that at all?
Love it.
Really? Yeah.
Those are my people.
See you
I'll
there.
Go hang out with them.
See you there on pit road. It's a shame you missed out on the state fair this year.
I know.
Boy, oh boy. It's like a Sunday race night times 10 with the Enduros. They have like 50 beat-up cars that people can barely have run. You should have gone to like that demo auction that I did for a story last weekend out in Rolla where it's just beat to you-know-what. So what is kind of like the top choice for you, your dream car that you got to have someday?
Oh, that's such a hard one. I really, 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 really like a Rolls Royce for like looks. Like it looks very good. It's very clean. It's very classy. It's very iconic. But like for performance wise, I would definitely go with maybe a 2017, maybe a 2008. Either 2008 or 2017 GTR. And then I would just deck the engine out super hard.
Off into the sunset. What makes the '08 and the '17 special compared to what's going to be brand new?
Just kind of different body style, kind of different, like, torque stuff. Without getting, like, super into it. And, I don't know, like, the 2008 was, like, a really good year for, like, Japanese cars in general. So,
yeah.
it's a good year to follow.
If you and your boyfriend are in a drag race, who wins?
Him.
Really?
I'm a big baby.
Really? Come on.
I don't like to drive fast. He can drive fast, and I'll sit in the passenger
You ride
seat all day.
fast?
Yeah, but I don't like to drive fast.
Would you ever go to, like, the Richard Petty experience in Florida at all?
I don't know what that is.
It's like the stock car racetrack. Richard Petty is like one of the best NASCAR guys of all time, and like they opened this thing where you can drive like the race car up to like 150 miles an hour on the track.
There's a thing in Vegas where you can drive all the bougie cars around like laps. So I want to really do that. So I'd probably do.
You're gonna save it, what, that like $2,000 or what?
It wasn't that expensive.
Really?
But I mean, it's only like one lap or something, so not super great. But
You have to drive it slow to get your money's worth. What does Minot have to do to get more of the car culture that you want?
Definitely like not as many trucks, not as
Yeah.
many muscle cars. That's all you ever see. Like the Mustang gang. It's no bueno up here, but hopefully nobody hears that and comes and beats me up.
That's okay. It's just not it. It's like Faith Hatton talking about food, Grace talking about Minot cars.
It's just not it. It's just they're just obnoxious. They're loud. They don't do anything. Like that's the thing. Like if you're gonna
Sounds
be loud
like
and obnoxious, then go. Like go for it. Be fast. Do that. But they don't. It's like, wah, but they're going like 10 miles an hour. It's not good.
Yeah, like you're peeling out of the red light and it makes noise and you're not even going fast, and then you glide out to your 40 miles an hour.
It's not worth it. My Mazda would hang in there with you at that point. Like, come on.
They're like ripping down Broadway past Wesley Ford, making way too much noise going nowhere.
So that's my beef with them. Same with the trucks. Everybody here has their lifted trucks and they're like cut off tailpipes.
Brand new lift kit.
Not about it.
Yeah, me neither.
It's not a good look.
Dang, I'll just stick with my little Hyundai and just ride that one till her dies. Well, Grace, I know everyone has been hopefully welcoming to you in Minot so far, and really appreciate you stopping in here and just enjoy your time in the Magic City, and we'll get your cars for you. Okay?
Sounds great. Sounds great.
All right, thanks a lot. It's Grace Kraemer, catcher on the 6 o'clock news with some guy named Joe Skrzyszewski.